You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Stand up, sit down, featuring in-depth discussion and interviews with stand-up comedians on the art of stand-up comedy. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, stand up, sit down.
Get that Miley Cyrus going.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is. Welcome to another exciting episode of Stand Up, Sit Down. I'm your host, Nick Perdue, and I'm here with the hilarious, the talented,
thank you,
Mr. Nate Jackson. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. Good to see you again.
That's what's up.
You know, it's been a little while.
It has.
You know, and so now you're here in front of me.
Here we are.
I have to say, you are probably one of the most talented comedians that I have seen perform live. Just based off of everything that you bring to your stand-up performance. You know, it's not just straight jokes. You throw in a little this, you throw in a little that. You have some singing in there. It's amazing. I try
to give them a full run of the gamut, you know? Yeah. I don't want anybody to go to the show and be like, that was cool.
Right.
I want it to be like, when can I see you again?
There you go.
That's what I want.
There you go.
I want that first date experience for everybody. That's what I want.
So, because you're from Seattle.
I am.
Right?
Well, so, Olympia, Washington. It's actually our south, capital city of the state. Not to cut you off, but people from Seattle are like, no, he's not. So I just want you to know it's Olympia, Washington. I represent the 360.
Okay, so from Olympia, Washington.
Yes.
What was it like growing up in Olympia, Washington?
It's very unique, actually. I am the youngest of three siblings. My older sisters are 12 and 16 years my senior. Oh, wow. So I'm basically the only child.
Yeah.
Because they were gone. Which also means that my parents were older. So my parents are grandparent age. Oh, wow. So really just like a lot of independence. And Olympia is the capital of Washington State, which is actually a city. But my parents are from Mobile, Alabama, and Bonita, Louisiana. And they wanted wherever they lived to be like where they grew up. So despite it being in Olympia, Washington, it is extremely country. Like, I used to fish every day as a kid. Like, it's extremely country, even though it's a city. You know what I mean? Like, I could literally go to 7-Eleven or Safeway or the mall within 3 minutes, but...
Like, nah. You gotta fish
I can fish right there, yeah. And I didn't grow up in a cul-de-sac with 25 kids around the neighborhood running around playing and joning on each other. It was just me.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
So I mean, did that make you funny because you were talking to stuffed animals and telling jokes growing up?
I mean, I didn't have stuffed animals. Pause. I might have had like a Teddy Ruxpin or something. But no, I don't know if it made me funny as much as it gave me a sense of independence, and I knew who I was at a very early age. Mm. So while a lot of my peers at the same exact age or even older than me were trying to identify with who they were, I already knew who I was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
were you the class clown? Like, were you funny growing up, or was it just like, you know?
I was, actually, and I'm not proud of that. Like, I don't feel like that's a good. Like, I know a lot of comics are like, I was the class clown. I've been funny my whole life. Right. That's not that good. But really, because of that independence and that self-assuredness at an early age, it gave me the ability to communicate on like a whole nother level. So my class clowning wasn't necessarily like deterring the class from the material and like being a nuisance as much as it was literally picking at the teachers to be like, you know, why are we doing this?
Right.
Now you know and I know that we're doing this because you want us to. Like, why are we doing this? Have you heard of imaginary numbers?
No.
Okay. So in math, at a certain level, they have something called imaginary numbers. And it's literally like a little cursive I, and there's a formula for determining the value. And I got kicked out of class every day for like a month during that whole chunk trying to learn about imaginary. I was like, I imagine all the answers. I imagine I got an A+. Why are we using imaginary answers? I have never... No one is going to revisit this.
Right.
You know, and the teacher's like, you do it because it's in the syllabus and the coursework. I said, ma'am, can I ask you something? Outside of the parameters of this classroom, do you use imaginary numbers? You don't? Okay. Because it's real numbers outside here. I got to go a real speed limit. I got to pay real rent. I got to pay real bills. And you want me to really sit in here and imagine numbers? let me go to art class so I can learn something that I can apply to my life.
Principal's office, like that's what.
Get out. And I get to the principal's office, and the same argument we made in the principal's office, and they literally had nothing to say back other than just chill here until class is over, and then go to 5th period. Like, that's kind of how, it was. I used to get in a lot of trouble, man. Like, my dad would come up to the principal's office, and the secretary would know how he likes his coffee.
Oh, wow.
Like, black, no sugar, no cream. Like, she knew, and I would,
See, so you might as well just have been like an office aide or something since you were there so much.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was it really didn't hold me back a lot. It was just like there were certain things that I was just not going to, no. Right. I'll go to the principal's office. And I didn't mind going to the principal's office. Like, most kids are like, don't do them. And other kids are like, ooh. Like, I was like, the principal? Come on. I'm ready. Don't send me to the vice principal's office, however. Now, that is a whole nother ball game. Right. They handle, expulsions, suspensions. I don't even want to see the vice principal. I'm sitting in the principal's office? We're talking about life.
Yeah, because like the principal is generally nicer, and the vice principal is the one with the hammer.
Straight up. Yeah. Coming through with the axe. Yeah. But they didn't want to they didn't really, like, how do you tell me I can't come to school? Like, I'm one of the best and brightest students you have. You know what I mean? So while I was a class clown, that's one thing. But then I also was one of only 3 students in the entire school to get a perfect 20 on my senior project.
Oh, wow.
So they're like, he just had to apply himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had teachers that were like, he's never going to be shit. And I had other teachers that were like, he's going to be something special. Right. Whatever in the hell it is he does. So I make sure to tell the ones that said I wasn't going to be shit, hi. How you
check
doing?
Me on TV.
Yeah, check me out. Tune in.
Yeah, so you were the kids that teachers love to hate.
Yeah, or love to love.
Or love to love, right.
But it wasn't no real middle. And they knew quick.
Right.
Day one, it was like, all right, I got my kids who are going to answer quick, who's going to do the homework, and then I got the kids who will question my every teaching move, And some teachers use that. They're like, Nate, you want to talk to the class about this segment? Think you already got it. And then I'll go up and, rip. Right. And sit back down and be like, wow. The teachers that didn't get it were just in my way, There
you go. So what did your parents think when you started doing comedy?
For me, doing comedy chose me. I'm not one of the guys that was like, I saw comedy on TV and I watched a lot of comics and then I did it and I bombed and then I did it for 3 more months and I finally got a Latin. No, it wasn't like that. I was at Eastern Washington University, my alma mater, who I'm representing right now with this hat, the Eagles, and I got dared. Somebody was like, yo, you literally kill us every day after class in the Union Building. How about, like, do you think you'd win a comedy competition if you were in one? I was like, yeah, I'll beat anybody. What are you talking about? And they're like, all right, turn around. And I turned around, and unbeknownst to me was this whole student-only comedy competition banner, and I was like, damn it, like, I gotta write jokes. So it chose me, and I did that and did well. Like, I did not bomb. I did great. I only lost to the guy who dared me to do it, who was on the low doing stand-up already. And so when I called home and was like, so, I got called out. I got to do this thing. And my dad's like, I think you're going to do well. And my mom was like, you're not going to do bad. So, and I did it, got first runner-up, and then was like, I want to go work on because I just did that out of scratch. I was like, if I could have went up 2 more times before I did that one, nobody would have beat me. So then I started hitting open mics. And then it started making sense for my parents when I was in college and also getting host and feature work, like being paid, like road gigs. Right. So they're like, he might be onto something. Well, this is the point of college, to find out what you're going to be. Yeah. So there you go.
So that competition was your first show? Yeah,
I popped my comedy cherry there.
How long did you do?
It was 5-minute sets.
And you did the full
5? Holding a 3x5 card in my hand.
Oh, wow.
Like this, like a set list. Like, okay, so Michael Jordan's wife. All right, so, like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. My closer from the first time I ever went on stage is still an active joke sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Like, if the energy is right, I'll do it. And it still hits.
That's good.
And it's also my most stolen joke. It is stolen, boy.
What's the joke, since it's already stolen?
Okay, so before I started comedy, I went to a barbecue at my homegirl Lariette's house, right? Lariette Young. She had some big ass titties. And I don't know if I can say it. It's already said it. Can't take it back. I just understand. They were big enough for me to say on this forum, in which I'm probably not supposed to say it. They were like, titties, okay? So we go to her house, and everybody's sitting all over the house, and there's one seat left in the middle of the couch. I sit down in the middle of the couch. I'm like, man, this is hella uncomfortable. Something is poking me in the back. So I reach into the couch cushion and pull out a dildo this long. And I'm just like, she's in the kitchen cooking the macaroni and cheese. Everybody's like, oh shit, Nate found a giant dildo on the couch. And I'm like, what's the cap on how big you go here? Why is it in your couch? Why isn't it? Why? She's like, oh my God, she's embarrassed. And I'm like, don't be embarrassed, sit on it, you know. And it was just wild, right? So I was like, it's so big, it's like gas powered. So my first joke was a joke about a gas powered dildo, and like I literally fire up the stool like it's a lawnmower and then ride it and make all these noises, and the crowd loved it. And since then, that joke has literally been stolen 1, 2, 3, between 4 and 7 different like national acts will throw my joke out there. I'll be like, wow.
But wait, did you confront any of these?
Absolutely. I've confronted every single one of them.
And what do they say?
They be like, I'm never going to do it again. But then they get on the road and they're at the Funny Bone and, you know, the middle of nowhere on their 42nd minute and got to fill an hour and can't figure out what they're going to say. They've done their crowd work already. Of course my jokes burn up. It's gone. They're not going to bomb. They're going to do, you know. But don't get a standing ovation with it and sign autographs and sell DVDs. Like, yeah. Like, I brought a guy to my room in Seattle that I had, right? Largest room on the West Coast. Brought him up there to that room. And this dude had stolen my joke so long ago, he didn't even remember where he stole it from.
Wow.
Does my joke on my stage to my crowd. The crowd's laughing all the way through, like, ha, ooh. And they all look over to where I would normally be sitting, and I'm like, I holler at dude. He's like, man, I'll never do it again. I'm so sorry. My bad. I'll never do it again. Go out to the San Manuel Casino to do the Laugh Factory with Tiffany Haddish. He's there. He's on stage doing the joke when I walk in. Then I'm like, how many times do we got to have this conversation?
He should at least pay you. Like, now he should pay you for it.
It was so bad he came off and I didn't say a lot. I was just like, nigga. Like, and he was like, bruh, I checked my tapes and I've been doing that joke since I put it on Comic View 6 years ago. And I was like, bro, I've been doing comedy 10 years. It's literally the first joke. I have the tape. It's the first joke I ever wrote. Right. You didn't get it from that. I know the night you got it. I know the night. We were there together. You were like, that was a funny joke. I remember you saying that. I know when you took it. So stop. Just stop. All right, man, I won't never do it again. I don't know if he still does it. All I know is now when he sees me, he's dapping me a lot. Dapping me up a lot and asking for Newports, even though I don't smoke anymore. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, he's trying to get some new material.
But just to bring it full circle, yeah, that was my first show. My parents were happy with it, and you know, it's just an evolution, I guess.
Okay, so what has been your worst show since that first show?
It'd be something where I reached and like shouldn't have even been doing that show. You know what I mean? Like at this point in my career, like I have a toolbox of material, and if it's not a TV taping, I can do anything I've ever written, right? So I'm not gonna bomb because there's enough good tools in there. I'm good.
Yeah,
I know. I can hit any. I've done it. I have my stripes, not in a cocky way, not in a way that lacks humility or being humble. I'm just saying, in this toolbox. It's like a mechanic that's so good, I can fix any car. I have the tools I need, you know what I mean? And so I can do, I'm not gonna bomb. I will get over the level of what was acceptable in any room, okay? Now, the problem is when it's not a room. When somebody's like, hey, just come say something to my aunt's family reunion classroom back here behind the house in the neighborhood, DJ'd on an iPod and, you know, and everybody back there thinks they're Kevin Hart. So that will be where it was awkward. I find a way to get through. Yeah. One of the most awkward shows I did, this family friend of ours, really through my dad, sweet lady named Danielle. She does a Secret Santa giveaway thing or something every year during Christmas time, and it's in Centralia, Washington, which is like pretty redneck.
Okay.
Okay. And she's like, I just want you to come and do maybe like 10 minutes or whatever. And I get there and she's like, the music acts aren't here. Can you do 45? Okay. Now I'm like, all right, well, let me get inside and see what's going on. It's her family. It's her family members.
That's it?
Her family members, bro. It's like 24 people that all look like her, kids, adults, men, women. They all got her nose and chin. It's all her, right? Room full of her. We got mismatched folding tables covered with anything as a cloth and a tray of cookies and assorted sandwich meats, and people are eating. And I'm standing next to a Christmas tree. No stage, really no mic. And, you know, it's close enough to home my dad showed up like, my son's doing the show. Come on, make me proud. I'm like, oh, you know? So it's just ridiculous. It's like, and that's why, and I still pulled out a decent show. Like, really, I just did crowd work and just worked my way around the table until they divulged enough secrets that they roasted themselves, essentially, and they were just laughing at the information they were saying. I got a big enough laugh and was like, dismount.
Right, I got it done.
Whew. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That's good. So have you ever bombed, though? Have you ever had a show where you just got no laughs whatsoever?
No. I had a show where I was doing well, and then it ended horribly. I don't know if it was a bombing as much as it was just, like, silence. It was the first year I did the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. The Bay Area Black Comedy Competition is the largest, longest-running urban competition in the world. 25 or 26 years strong now. Everybody who is anybody has come through there. And I did, it was my first year going. And usually when people go their first year, they're like, I'm going to win. Because they're the funniest person from where they're from. Right. Or they at least, you know, they've done enough shows. They're like, I could do well.
Right.
And you get there and you don't realize you're going up against dudes that have been going just comedy, no other job, no other nothing, 7, 8 years. They've been in the competition 4 years. They know what to expect. You can look in the program and be like, he's going to do well. He's going to do it because they, you know what I mean? And, you know, coming from a vain point of view, you're like, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat all these people, all these strangers I've never met. You know what I mean? And so I remember I had to follow Kool-Aid from Detroit, who is hilarious. And Kool-Aid, and as a matter of fact, I actually advanced my first year I did it to the semis. And it goes 5 minutes, then 7 minutes, then like 10 or 12, whatever, and whoever wins it all takes it. And so I advanced to the second round of 3. And which is kind of unheard of for first time entries. But I did, and I was fine with the 5, like it was great. But when they stretched to the 7, I was like, either I do the 5 and add 2, or I fluff the 5 so that it makes it to 7.
Right.
I chose fluff. So it was like joke, say some bullshit, joke, say some bullshit, joke, and stretch it all the way out. Right. Versus just doing the same, banging 5, add something, or save a closer and then add something there. I didn't do the right thing. So one of my fluff jokes was something that I had never said on stage before. It was something I thought of. And it was to say, could you imagine a man walking across the street in front of your car with a cane, and then the cane slips and he falls like this in front of your car? That's how green I was. Like, that was the joke. Right. So I take the mic stand, act like it's a cane, then I kick the bottom out from under it, and I literally fall. It wasn't an act out fall. It was like, well, damn. Right. So the whole get up was just like, Ave Maria. Still wasn't up yet. Ave Maria. It was just sad. And I remember coming back off stage. I finished out my set. I actually fought out of that hole to be like, I didn't fail, y'all. You know, right. Fought out of that hole, ended on like a decent giggle or whatever, and came off. And I remember walking past who at the time was like, and still is. Now it's more like a big brother, but at the time was like a full-on idol. Like, I put him up with prior stuff. But Rodney Perry was a celebrity guest host. And I walked back out, and he's coming back out on stage to host, and his face was so blank. That I was like, and that's when it hit me. Like, normally you sit in the little waiting room right there and other comics are waiting, and then you just walk through there on your way back through. I just chilled in there till the end of the show. Like, I don't want to look at anybody, you know. Came out at the end. Tony Spires, the guy who pushed the whole competition on, who now is my manager, was just like, so what happened? You had 5, but that 7 was messing with you, wasn't it? I was like, man, I swear to God, I'll come back next year and I'll kick ass, you know. Right. So the next year I came back and was in semis, very strong showing in that. And then the next year I came back and I was like, this is the year I win. Like, you know, this is the year I win. Like, I had written 2 new big closers, and I knew that adding them to what I had already done there was enough that wasn't nobody gonna beat me.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. I went in and I just destroyed, right? I'm in a joke with the act out. I look away, I look up, and you get 2 lights. I look up and the light flashes, but all the comics are waving their cell phones. So I just close up and rap and I get off. And they tell me I run the light by 3 seconds, which is like a 10-point
deduction.
10-point deduction, and I did not advance. The year that I was like, I'm going to win. The year that I destroyed that bitch, right? And it was just enough point. And I did so well that with the 10 points taken off, they were like, he still might advance. Like, that's how hard I ripped.
Right.
But there was a guy on the show, and this is going to sound crazy. It might sound a little effed up. But there was a guy on the show in a wheelchair. And that's kind of like, in comedy, like a handicapped comic, wheelchair,
right?
Anything that's like, wow, he's doing it despite all of that. Like, you know, it helps. I'll just say it helps.
Right.
Why is that? What was that sound?
No, I'm just messing.
Oh, I was like, oh man, I broke it.
Because Josh Blue was about to walk in.
Hilarious, coming in here choking me out with the good hand. Not to make fun of disabilities, but that's literally what happened. Like, I got docked my points, and it was enough points that Damon Rozier from New York, a very funny comic. He's really funny, but he advanced. And so then the next year I was like, all right, this is my year, you know? And that year I won. Like, pretty much.
Yeah,
like
so
flying colors.
Was that the thing you thought that really kind of helped catapult your career, and you're like, okay, this is...
No. I thought leading up to it that winning the Bay Area Black was a statement, because there's only 25 winners, and you know, the winners that have won, and Tommy Davidson and Mark Curry, and you know, all these big names. I was like, as soon as I win this, I'm on, because that's how Jamie Foxx got on in Living Color. It was part of the winning prize. Like, you win, you get $5,000, you get recording something contract, and you get to be on 3 episodes of a new Wayans project. And that's kind of like, you know, and all the jokes he did were characters he did on stage already.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm on. And really, at that time, the Bay Area Black it's back now. Like, you know, when you win, it's nuts. The 5,000 is real.
Cash? Is it cash, or the give you a check?
It doesn't matter. It's gone. I found a way. But you know, all of the bonus stuff that were like, you know, because we just, you know, comedy was in a dip.
Right.
You know, where it's like there's no shows on TV, there's no nothing to guarantee.
Right.
The year that I ran the light was the year that Bob Sumner said he's taking everybody from every semifinalist and putting them straight on Def Jam.
Oh.
I ran the light and didn't move on. So I got to watch Def Jam and see Damon Rozier performing. You know what I'm saying? I got to watch Def Jam and see people who we had all advanced together, like the Tiffany Haddish, Damn Fool. We were all that's all the same year. So I got to watch us do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just know that I was like, man, if I was on, I would have done just as well as my peers and my colleagues.
Yeah.
But that's not what God had in store for me. So it took me until this year, 10 years after I started, to get TV credits.
Yeah, and good way. You could do on the new edition of BET Comics View.
Yeah, which I think will get a really good look. Yeah. I mean, I think that, like I said, at the time we were in a rut in comedy. So, like, you know, the output for awards you would get, you know, the benefits of winning the Bay was a lot lower. But now, comedy's back in full swing. I mean, there's 5 comedy clubs in Tacoma, Washington, which is like a E-market. There's 5 comedy clubs.
Yeah.
5.
That's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
That's a lot.
Okay? And I don't see any of the Hollywood clubs looking like they're about to close. Like this, you know, comedy's back up. There's shows on a lot of TV channels. Comic View is back. Showtime's been doing specials. Comedy's king again. And TV's king again, too. I mean, reality TV is pretty much dead now.
Yeah.
Other than, what's the girl that dropped the sex tape? It's a wrap.
Oh, yeah, the Love and
Hip. That whole thing. Yeah, you know, but it's back. You know, you have comedy is king. Content is king on television. If you're making TV right now, it's a good lane. Yeah. And so the rewards that could be reaped for someone who won the Bay now are probably greater than they were when I won in 2010. Just because of the exposure you get. But that exposure is really what I saw. It wasn't like I got a bunch of extra money or credits right away. It was really the exposure, because nationally, people are like, who won? Nationally, probably internationally, you know what I mean? Because I had a message from one of my frat brothers in Japan. I was like, congratulations, I heard you won the Bay Area comedy competition. And I was like, okay. And then my value rose at home, where people have no idea what the Bay is. They're like, we heard you won something. We coming to your next show. Sold out. And they're like, what did you, explain what you won? Like, they're heckling that. Okay, well, here's what I want. You know what I mean? But so I think it raised my value in that sense, and then my own personal evaluation of my self-worth rose. You know, I'm like, if I can do that, then I'm officially a bad motherfucker.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because it puts you into a new echelon now.
Yeah, like you're company with winners. Right. And somebody who didn't win that year tried to say they won that year. Like literally made a flyer and was like, I won.
That's terrible.
And sent it out. And was like, apparently he was like, I want to see how much work I could get before they caught me. And then after a few days, like through delusion, was like, no, I really won though. And then I was going to be like, do I handle this? And then like 3 other past winners called me and was like, don't worry about it. We got this.
Right.
Like there's just, it's not right.
Right.
And as winners, we got to hold up the prestigiousness of this. Yeah. We'll take care of it. And then it all just kind of went away.
Wow.
So that's the Bay.
Sounds very mafioso a little
bit. Yeah.
And all just, it's kind of went away. He doesn't even do comedy anymore. He works at some AM PM down the street.
He does comedy. He's just, I don't know who's watching him.
So how do you handle hecklers?
I think hecklers only have room to heckle with the room you give them. So if you're ripping, their minds aren't going as fast as yours. When you're speaking, you're usually 2 jokes ahead of yourself. You know what I mean? So if you're rocking, like where do they have to insert something? Right. And in general, hecklers aren't on the same mental level as what you already done. Because this material is thought out, it's tried and true. Somebody heckles, you can basically just repeat them. Right. Whatever they said is not intelligent. Just repeat them. Right. And if it's good enough, you can be like, "Hey, touche, 2 points for you. Now shut up and keep going." But I don't really give them that time.
Okay. So we mentioned briefly because that your internet or that your national and your international name has grown from the competition. So what is life on the road like? For like a brand new comic or a brand new comic venturing out on the road and doing different spots in different cities and the hotel and the travel and stuff like that. What is that experience like?
What was that experience like? How long we got for this one?
We have another about 15, 20 minutes.
All right, so I'm going to give you the short answer. That's still going to seem long to people. It's different for me than I think it is for other comics. And the reason I say that is because I have some personal experience with the road that a lot of comics don't. When I say that, I built a tour, and we went in my car. I grabbed the comics, I did all the marketing, I made the promotion tools for it, made everything for it, and we did grassroots, and we went. So we did a car version of that, and the next year we went back out. We'd fly into one market and then just do that. Like we'd fly into Chicago and do all of Illinois and everything that touches, and then go back home. And the next year was colleges and universities, and still mixing all that stuff in. So we built a successful tour from scratch, which, from what I understand, nobody else has done. Not without a name. Right. Nobody's done that without a name. To create basically our own Chitlin circuit, like they used to have, like the circuit that blew up the Steve Harveys and the Ricky Smiley back in the day. Right. But once those guys got big enough in the Chitlin circuit, large conglomerates came in like Live Nation and AEG and gave them national tours, and so they didn't do Chitlin anymore. Yeah. Which killed the Chitlin circuit. Which then made it impossible for new comics to grow and become as big as they were too. So once those guys were bigger than the AEG and the Live Nation circuits, they're like, all right, so how do we go back and get another star like we had before? How? You eradicated the process for creating stars. Yeah. So now you have nothing to pull from. So now you only have 4 major national acts that can sell out any theater anywhere, which is Kevin Cat, Mike, and Dave, maybe? There's one more. It's not Dave. Dave sells out too, but he was
Chris.
Retired. No, it's not even Chris. He's international. I'm talking about the urban acts that came from that. Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, Mike Epps. I don't know why it's evading me. It's just one of the big 4. They get movies, they get TV. So, whatever.
Cedric?
No, it ain't Cedric. It's a modern act. Yell it out. I think I heard it from somewhere else in this place.
I'm thinking.
Cat Williams.
Right. Kevin
Hart.
Right.
Who's on now. And I'll say Cat was last. Then you got Mike Epps, who's still from the Friday fame. Maybe it is Dave.
Yeah, well, yeah, and because his
There's
his
the big
show
four,
put him,
and everybody knows nationally. Like you bring one of these 4 dudes, you're good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you bring them because they've been there before. They have a following, and if they don't have a following there, then turn on your TV because there they are. So it's a big 4, and Chitlin circuit wise, it's 52 weeks. They got to have a show. So there was at least 30 people working through there. So that's where you get your Miss Laura Hayes' and you get your, you get the people who were working out of the comedy act and stuff like that were still traveling. Now that's gone. So since that's gone, there's no promoters that have the faith in anybody other than the main 4 because it's too risky for them to put their money up. So the price is staggered graciously. So the top 4 can go in and ask for $25,000 a show, and then beneath that, everyone else, pretty much you're around 1,000 or 1,500, and you just see that's the different levels in the classes.
Yeah.
And every now and then you'll see somebody jump from one to the other, and that's where Kevin came from, because he was right there, and you're like, where'd he come from? Nowhere. No, he's been here 12 years, grinding, and there was room because somebody fell off, or some room was made, or somebody went to Africa, or somebody had enough rants and went crazy in public that like we need a new guy. Right. So all that to say, my experience with it is different because I might be the sole person who's done a grassroots tour. Not went out with a headliner, not featuring for somebody, and the gigs were all handed to me. I mean, we built this from the ground up. And so year 1 was myself and BT Kingsley and Keisha Hunt out of Houston. Hunt to that. And then the second year we added Clayton Thomas to it. And so our experience, the road is just different. So now the difference is, somebody will pay for me to fly somewhere, put me up, I'll get my rate, we'll do the show. The people know me, or I know enough people from a lot of the shows I did on the West Coast. Like I had the biggest show on the West Coast. It was in Tacoma, Washington. And what I didn't realize was how far those people are, because they aren't all just in Tacoma. Like it went for 4 years. So I'll go to Houston, and there'll be like 15 people who had seen that show, been in the room at that show. Oh, wow. They're like, we live here now, my husband's here, and we got 10 friends, and we're all coming. I got 45 people that bought tickets to come that saw me back home. Right. And then I'll go from Houston to Dallas, and it'll be the same thing, or from there to Miami. Like, because it's a military town in Tacoma. So, everybody gets new PCSs, and they travel everywhere. So when they see me there and then leave, it grows. Same as Dane Cook doing all colleges, and then when the kids graduate, he blows up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's good. And but do you think that that's what is needed now, especially for like new comics? With the whole social media era and this and that now, that doing your own grassroots tour or doing something versus trying to attach yourself to a big name and being like a feature or being
well, I'll tell you this. I don't think there's one avenue to success. I don't think there's one path. And I think whatever you do, if you're a comic, you got to do something. But, some people's strategy is to live in a major city, different major cities for like 2 years at a time. Some people's strategy is to go out and travel like crazy. Some people's strategy is to keep their day job and then to try and plan week-long trips in other cities and do as many open mics and shows as they can and build their stuff. Other comics, mom or dad or sister or brother or somebody works for an airline and they just fly everywhere for free doing a lot of shows. Right. Other comics, you see what I'm saying? Other comics just sit at home and tweet all day and they build a following. Other ones make Vines. Other ones make Instagrams. But you know what I'm saying? It's really like, what is your combination of these irons you have on the fire that you're rocking with? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. You have... I don't even know if this is a podcast anymore. We're in a studio. It's not a podcast.
It's both. It's
no, podcasts are in like garages, and you can be wearing pajamas and socks. This is not that.
It's like different echelons of podcasts.
Exactly. There's levels to this shit, as Meek Mills would say.
Right. So now let's briefly talk about TV, because you've done some TV spots. So how did you land? Like, how did you land the BET Comic View, and then you're on Bounce TV off the chain, also hosted by Rodney Perry. So how did you land those TV spots?
Well, this is the first year in my career where my success depends on me. And if you're listening to this and that doesn't make sense, you just have to understand, like, there's a lot of trials, tribulations, and gatekeepers in comedy. There's a reason there's a big four, and then there's a gap, and then there's like a lot of people who make the decisions on who's going to be hot, regardless of how funny they are, regardless of any of that. There's a reason. And it's just because that stuff is in the way, these roadblocks and stuff. And so for the first time in my career, I was clear of all of that. Like, any gatekeeper or any talent booker or finder or something like that had already been like, he's good with me. Right. Now it's on me. You know what I mean? I don't have to earn the approval of, like, I got the funny stamp. You know what I mean? And it wasn't Winning the Bay that did it. You know what I mean? It was really just it can be so political sometimes. You know what I mean? Like there was a comic that did some of my material at a showcase. Right? Same joke I'm talking about before.
Right,
yeah. And so, but they showcased before me. So then when I went to go do my showcase and did my own material, the talent person was like, this is stolen material.
Right.
So they didn't mess with me.
Right.
And because there was a lull in comedy, as many productions as there were, it lasted for like maybe 3 or 4 productions by that talent person. Well, over the 3 or 4 productions was 4 years, because that's how scarce the work was.
Right.
So over 4 years, I get no TV because that person's under the impression that I'm a joke thief.
Right.
Okay. They have an enlightening experience where they see the person who did my material doing other material they're familiar with, and then they're consistent. You know, they're gonna steal. They're gonna steal.
Right.
And then it's like, wait a minute. Everybody I thought that was stealing from this guy, it's vice versa.
Right.
So I got a call and was like, let's just smooth this all out. I apologize, and I'm like, 4 years.
Yeah.
For 4 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I didn't know that's why you weren't messing with me. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we can have this call. Yes, I will showcase. Because I showcase and I do what is expected at a showcase. I destroy. Because I'm funny enough. I should have been, I wasn't even getting yeses to showcase for things. So once that was all smoothed out, now I can showcase. Then I do a showcase, and I'm one of the stronger acts. I'm not gonna say I just walked in and, lit the stage on fire and every comic stood in my smolders. But I will say I was a stronger act. Like if there was 12 acts, you'd be like, "Who are the top 3 you think?" I would pop up.
Right.
And that's undeniable because when they're at the showcase, they're looking for the top 8 to put them on TV. So if I'm in the top 3 and I still can't get on, what are we talking about? So just through politics and things smoothing out on their own or naturally or however long it took in God's time. Now it's on me. Now I can do the showcase and bomb on my own merit and be like, all right, I know why I didn't get it.
Right.
But before it was like, I'm literally like, I'm throwing grenades and shooting arrows through bodies in the crowd. Like it's just a massacre of funny.
Yeah.
No call. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And so to not, because of the way I am and how independent I was, I didn't go into like this big endless spiral of bitterness. It was just like, it'll loosen up at some point eventually.
Right.
And that's how things like a grassroots tour comes, because you don't just up and be like, you know what? I'm getting in my car, I'm driving the whole nation. Something has to happen where you're like, the people need to see me because I'm being denied, being shown to them. So I'll just go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, and that's grassroots. And I would go and I would do shows and people be like, man, you were funny. What's your name? You're going to be a star one day. I'm like, man, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate that so graciously. What's your email or your information, your contact, so when I come back to the city, you got the heads up.
Right.
You do that enough times, you get your following grows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But no, because also, how do you feel about, because, like people are going to steal jokes regardless, and at the end of the day, the strong acts, the people who know how to write, who know how to perform material, all the good stuff is eventually gonna rise to the
I think it's bullshit. I think people who steal jokes is just lame. Like, be creative. You're in a creative sport. Right. Do it. You know what I mean? Do your due diligence to write it. And the other thing is not just that. You also have to have the integrity to let bits go that sound familiar to other comics. That you've never heard before, you've never seen before. You do your joke, or you see them doing the joke, and you're like, because we are all exposed to the same media, the same thing, So for me to come up with a joke about Mimi and her shower curtain right when it happened, and you come up with one, it may be similar in premise or punch or whatever. I have to be able to see you do it and be like, I'll let mine go.
Right.
Or see you do it and be like, yo, I got one like that. No, don't trip. Here's what I say. Take it as tags and beef yours up. Because I'm not going to be running around doing the same thing as another person.
Right.
That makes sense?
Right.
But that level of integrity is what's at stake. That's really hard to find.
It's true. But and also what I think is it makes you want to write more, though, also because it makes you want to create more.
Yeah, but a golden bit is a golden bit.
That's true.
I can write 10 bits and one is just like, ooh, like I don't even have to do it on stage at this point. I'll be like, that is gonna destroy. Like I just know that's gonna rip.
Yeah.
Then I do it, and then the next week I go to another show and I see someone doing it. It's like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But now I'm starting to get large enough in my career that people have seen me live and then they will see another comic steal something or do it live, and they'll notify me because we're socially connected now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw a comic on a national award show.
You can say his name if you want to.
I don't. I don't know, man. That one's a little too big. This ain't just a peer.
You can say his initials if you want. If you want to say his initials, you can say his initials.
It's one of the big four.
Wow.
And I don't need to add. I don't need to add more politics after I just got clearance.
Okay.
Okay. And I also don't think that they're aware. I think their writers saw me do the material and then turned that in as material.
Okay.
So they think they're doing a safe bit. But the first 42 seconds of his set was identical to the first, my first minute of my joke I do about Frank Ocean. And it was topically very relevant, and they went on national television on an award show and went for it. And so I was on stage in Washington on a Thursday night, and my phone just started going nuts. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything. People sent video chunks of me like, oh my God, you made it. Like that.
Right,
I'm like, man, fuck that.
How much did you get paid? Like, I didn't get nothing.
Zip, zero, zip. His writer, on the other hand, who jacked me on Monday night at the Improv and then had him do my stuff on a Thursday night on national television without him knowing, unbeknownst to him. But I mean, by the grace of God, I hope it's unbeknownst to him. Otherwise, we're going to have the greatest debacle on comedy's hands since it started.
And you know what I enjoy? I enjoy how you throw in little key pieces of information that if you're a comic and if you know Monday Night at the Improv, little things that you just throw in.
I didn't know I'm doing it.
That kind of help me figure out who this is, because now I have a good idea.
Oh, okay.
Of who you're talking about. Because not a lot of people have hosted, any award shows in the past couple years. So,
well, by deduction,
right?
You can potentially come up with it. But a lot of people were hitting me up. I mean, I got the video, and I also got because that's a singing joke. And so on television, the comic did as much of it as they could without getting to the singing part, because that's not one of
that's not what they do.
That's not in their wheelhouse.
Right.
So they got to it and then they just bailed.
Right.
Right. So it literally did not work. Like, it was working, got to that part and it was like, wasn't working. And then they just moved on to the next material, and it was like, mouth open, like, I can't believe I got.
And that's the thing too, because like, if you're gonna take, at least take the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's not whether he didn't know that's where the whole thing goes, or the writer got to that point and was like, well, he's not gonna be able to sing, so I'll just try to add this punchline. It didn't work once it got to that juncture. Literally, it was a fork in the road. Sing or don't sing. Don't sing. What could he possibly say that would be a good closer to this? Because that's what closes the joke out. That's what buttons the joke. Anyway, so I got. And it wasn't a good feeling, because I'm watching, I go back and I watch this award show or whatever, and I'm like, man, if my material's on this award show, I should be on this award show. Right. Like, I'm good enough to be on it, because there goes my stuff. Exactly. But America will still not know, who the kid is that this came from. Well,
here's the thing. You're on this show now.
Now America knows.
Now America
knows.
All
of America.
Mr. Nate Jackson. So where can people see you live?
I'm actually trying to start a Hollywood room now too, to expand that process. So as that happens, and since we're Black Hollywood Live, I'd imagine that's a pretty heavy percentage of your listeners. Yeah. When the Hollywood room launches, I'll let you know. But I'm looking at either a room in Beverly Hills or on Sunset in the middle of the Strip near Chick-fil-A. And I'm not going to say the location yet, because these niggas be acting up. I say the place, they go have a meeting tomorrow.
Right, and then,
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. But so you can look for that, the Hollywood show, or you can just catch me around. You can definitely check my schedule. My full schedule, any city, state, and all that is on natejacksoncomedy.com. And from time to time, I'll post a scheduled type of image on my Instagram, to maybe like a once a month. Right. I'll post like, here's all my April shows, here's all my March shows. If I'm coming near you, come out. If I'm not, and you know somebody in those cities, tell them to come out. Yeah. Like that kind of thing. So I'm pretty active. I'm on Instagram, Vine, Twitter, Facebook page. So I'm not hiding from anybody. If you want to know my dates or see some funny content, or if you're bored at work or bored at home or can't quite sleep yet, just dial me up. And I don't mean call me. I mean, go on natejacksoncomedy.com. or YouTube/Nate Jackson Comedy, or Mr. Nate Jackson on Vine, or Mr. Nate Jackson on Instagram, and just get your laugh on. You deserve to laugh this hard.
There you go. You deserve some Nate Jackson comedy, is what he's saying.
Yeah, and it don't all be me. Like, I expose people to other talent too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So tweet him out, Nick Perdue. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. And what is your Twitter?
The Nick Perdue.
You just threw a the on yours.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, because Nick Perdue was taken, so I had to.
I'm just Mr. Nate Jackson. Just want you to know my gender in case there's a lady Nate out there somewhere. Mr. Nate Jackson.
Well, thank you, Nate. Thank you for coming in. I had a great time.
Thank you for having me, the Nick Perdue. I appreciate it. If the Nick Perdue wants to dig a little deeper in the future into some of the stuff I delved into slightly, I'm glad I will come back and do the Nick Perdue show.
Right.
Gracious, I'll come right back.
All right, man. Thank you again. Thank you for coming in. Make sure you guys check him out. Make sure you guys follow him. And of course, you can follow me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue. I'll see you next time.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.